here, we see grade wood, there's some black in it. The first thing we want to do is pre-wet wood. There's 4 things we do all the time on wood, okay? One is first you're going to pre-wet. We're going to do some cedar here, some of the Ipe, and pre-wet. Now pre-wet, a lot of people say, well, why are you doing that? Well, there's a couple of reasons, but the biggest reason is it's also creating a barrier. You want it real wet. Bless you. You see a lot of YouTube videos where people are just putting product on dry wood and it soaks into the wood because it's very porous. It's a porous surface. It's different than most of the surfaces we use or we go up against. Organic growth will actually root in the wood. We have to get a little bit more below the surface, but we're close to the surface. If we were stripping this, the stains and sealers are closer to the surface. They're not down in there. How do we keep the product to work the best is by pre-wetting the wood. It keeps the product up there where it should work better. I had a guy take a class, he was using a different system and he was doing a cedar shake roof. And he was told not to pre-wet. Came here, took the class, went back, he's on his way to a house that he had done. He did a house the old way the first day. Second day, it's raining. He was going to cancel and he remembered Everett said pre-wet. He goes to the cedar shake house, cleans the roof, and guess what happened? Nothing changed except for he pre-wet the roof. Second house came out better.
Yep.
Guess what he had to do the third day?
Go do the first.
Had to do the first one over again. And that changed. So you pre-wet the wood first. It's part of more of a standard than anything, okay? So we're gonna pre-wet the wood. Then you're gonna use something, but not pressure. If you notice, I have a garden hose out here. You could use an X-Jet M5. You could use the black tip if you want on your pressure washer. You could use a garden hose. It's not pressure that does the work. We're talking restoration here, and that's how it should be done. So here's the Restore. We're going to put it on, and we're just going to be liberal with it. You can almost see it working already. And this, another thing too is, how many times have people gone out and cleaned wood or clean a surface, and they use bleach, and they end up having to do it twice? Most people are cleaning today and don't even know how bleach works. Bleach reacts with the first thing it comes in contact with. So if you have heavy growth and it hits the growth, does it really restore the wood? No. Sodium metasilicate is a really good cleaner because it cuts through that and you only got to do the job one time. And again, most of the jobs we run into are neglected. They've got a little bit of stain, so it has a little bit of stripping ability, and it is able to clean and get rid of our organic growth. That was pretty good. I hope you guys got that whole video.
It's live, buddy.
I'm just glad you blocked it from me.
Probably feel good now.
It's a little warm.
You say that one.
If we were to use a pressure washer, you could just kind of mist it, kind of go over it a little bit, keep it wet. There's nothing wrong with agitating it, okay? If you're stripping, a lot of people will say, I have a tough coating, it wouldn't come off. Did you agitate it? You didn't. Another thing that's a fallacy. Again, we're going back to Facebook groups. Hot water will raise the grain of wood, and you're told not to use hot water, right? But guess what hot water does on today's coatings? I mentioned deck over, I mentioned solid stains. You know what hot water does? It delaminates it, it melts it. Makes it easier to take off. If you have some of those hard coatings that people walk away from, you can make a lot of money. Because who's going to do the work? It's still got to get done. Most time I tear the deck out, they got to get it off. Most of those times, those jobs, guess what? They have to be sanded anyway. Anybody who does sanding on a deck, you can take a floor sander on this size deck. This was wood on both sides. And you can be done in less than an hour. That's what a floor sander is, having the right equipment. We have 3 floor sanders and we use them regularly. They run the trucks every day because that's what we use. Okay, the third part is we're using the products. It's dwell time. Everything is about dwell time. And one of the things we do with decks or anything else, and I'll show you, is you're taking your boot and you want to see if it's coming off. If it's coming off, you're ready to rinse, no matter what it is. If it's not, you don't do that. Say we're working on a log cabin. I should have done this. Or a vertical surface. I'm not asking you to put your boot up here, but use your nylon brush, and you can do the same thing. 'Dwell time is the key. Dwell time, just so you know, and people get this, well, how long do you let it sit? How long should it dwell? 10 minutes this, 15 minutes that? The answer is you don't know. You have a general idea, but its dwell time is as long as it takes for whatever you're cleaning, restoring to come off, to delaminate. It's very important to trust dwell time. Trust the process. If I start on this too early, I struggle. I use too much pressure. If I wait 10 minutes, 30 minutes on a cool day for strippers and these products to work, all of a sudden it comes off like butter and you're getting an optimal look. Otherwise, you're scarring. Now, there's a lot of owner-operators here. What happens if you take that same scenario and you put that with your employees? Guess what happens? They do it even quicker and they're using pressure and they're scarring the crap out of it. They're creating more work and it's not optimal. It's very, very important to trust the dwell time. Third thing is, and this hasn't been on that long, but 5-10 minutes is probably all you need on in a lot of cases if you're using the right product. And then you just rinse, I think. And the rule of thumb is rinse, rinse, and rinse again. Again, you're going to trust the process. Don't worry about what it looks like when it's wet. When something's wet, it looks different than it is when it's dry. Wood's going to always be different. When you deal with hardwoods, even cedar, as you can see behind me, cedar shakes have different colors and tones. One of the best things you can do is tell a customer is wood is different. It has light, medium, and darker tones. Trust the process. Rinse, rinse, and rinse again. And you can see the rich color coming back out in the wood. And you'll see as this dries, the difference between here and here. You already can tell the difference. And this is easy. This is the magic part, right? You look at this. And when people that post their videos and their pictures, what do they post pictures of? That. Wet. You ever see them post dry? You ever see them post the end result? Only if it's beautiful, right? Well, you do, yeah. What products do you use?
Only yours.
Oh, shit. Well, that's why. Anyway, thanks for the plug, Matt. It's really important no matter what the product you are using. You got to trust the process. Wood is a lot different, guys. It is really, really, really different. And what I mean by that is it being porous. So that organic growth is going to root in there. One of the most important things I've talked to a few of you guys today about is you clean concrete, you clean houses, you clean all these things. 10 years of neglect. You guys pre-treat and post-treat, correct? Wood is porous and soft. Cedar is soft, right? 10 years, what are you going to do? You're going to get it all in one shot? Because that's what Facebook will tell you. Ain't happening. If you're doing a cedar shake roof and you have a 10-year neglected roof and it's still in good integrity and you're not selling a 2-application process, you're not doing it right. And guess what? Every time I've done that, I've gotten the job. Because I'm different than what the other people are saying. Because what are the other people saying? They're used to asphalt roofs. Oh, I'll put it on, don't worry. In 2 weeks or a month, everything's going to look great. No, it isn't. anybody's done a cedar shake roof with lichens or a lot of organic growth, guess what happens when you go back in 2 weeks? Talked to you earlier. The ends of the cedar shakes, you'll start shaking your head. Yeah, they still have the growth. What's the customer want? They don't want that. What if they are getting it sealed and they're protecting those cedar shakes? It's got to be red. You got to remediate that. You got to come back. 2 applications. Nobody talks about this stuff when it comes to wood, but this is what separates yourself. I mentioned yesterday being different. Sometimes being different is just doing the right thing. But there's no way on God's green earth you can take 10 years of neglect and organic growth and get it off a cedar shake in 1 application. I've never seen it. I just haven't. So sell 2 applications.
That's not what Greg Tatum said.
We had a kumbaya moment at Tom Vogel's this year. Rinse, rinse, and rinse again. So I'm not going to say anything bad. But I will tell you, he gave me free stuff of everything he had. And before you guys came last week, I put it all in the dumpster. You guys got that on video, bro.
No, I turned mine off.
Here, choke me.
Ron Jones was on there, the owner of the.
I will tell you, I mean,
Tons of dirt.
he brings up something that's kind of interesting. Well, I don't talk bad. I don't talk bad about